Not since the night Teddy Ruxpin killed 4 teenagers at the Southfield Mall has a talking robot doll scared so many so quickly. Our next guest, you know, from The Daily Show, Shang-Chi, Crazy Rich Asians. His new movie is called M3GAN. Please welcome Ronny Chieng.
Oh my God.
It's great to have you here.
Thank you. This is an American institution.
What is?
This is 20 years.
Oh.
I've been watching this since I was a kid.
Is that right?
Yeah, you're in my favorite episode of Entourage.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, when you did. Remember when you did?
I don't even remember what happened.
Yeah, but that's my context for like when you're not from America. A lot of our understanding of America comes from talk shows.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
All
we
right.
watch that stuff. We stay up late to watch it. We're like, oh, Americans know how to make fun of each other. And then you come here and you're like, oh, no, not at all. No,
That's super interesting. Oh, yeah, you think like, oh, everybody must have a good sense of humor there.
There's music every night. Everyone's laughing. It's great. And
You've lived in so many places, right? Where have you lived, though? Just quickly go through them.
I was born in Johor Bahru, Malaysia, and then... Really? Johor Bahru, Malaysia? Oh, you guys are being nice. All right, yeah. I thought there was actually someone from Johor Bahru here, but that's... and then we moved to Manchester, New Hampshire.
Well, that's quite a jump.
Yeah. Manchester, New Hampshire. I didn't know it was a small town. When I was there, it was like we had 4 places. Went to the library, went to school, went to the park, and we went to 1 restaurant. And I was like, oh my God, the world is huge.
Yeah.
Went to 4, and then after Manchester, New Hampshire, we went to move back to Singapore. And I lived in Singapore for a bit, and then I went to Australia for law school. And
wow.
I came here in 2015.
So, like Dora the Explorer, you've been everywhere.
Post-national living, I think.
Where's your family? Where do they live?
They live in Singapore and Malaysia.
Oh, so they're still in, and do you go back and visit them much?
I try to go back every year. So I'm me and my wife are the only ones here. So we're the only ones in America.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's just 2 of us, and then my mom lives in Singapore. A lot of my extended family lives in Malaysia. I try to go back every year to see them, but the pandemic was tough. I had 2 years. I didn't get to see my mom at all.
Oh, that's tough, yeah.
And then when it finally reopened, when Singapore finally reopened, I found like 50 hours to actually go visit her. I flew from New York to Singapore just to see her. And I showed up and she wouldn't even take leave from work. Yeah. She worked through my trip. I was like, Mom, I'm here for like 48 hours. Can you take leave from work to hang out with your son that you haven't seen in 2 years? And she was like, it's...
What does your mom do for a living?
Nothing that important. She's like, it's not...
So...
She's not saving the world, all right? She's like the ultimate accountant. You're not disarming a bomb, all right?
Did they watch you on The Daily Show there? Did they get to see you?
They did. So my whole thing was, when I started doing show business, I didn't want to tell them what I was doing. Because
why?
I just didn't want them to... I didn't want the comments. I didn't want any negative... I also didn't want to, like... I didn't want to feel like I did something until they heard about it independently. You know what I mean?
Right, you want to succeed before
I didn't want to go around being like, hey, I'm doing this gig or that gig, like, who cares? You know, if you were good, they would hear about it, was my mentality. So I didn't tell them a single thing. And then one day, my dad called me. He was like, hey, did you get hired on the Everyday Show? I was like, no, it's the Daily Show. He's like, yeah, same. And then so it's not the same, but anyway, yeah, I got hired on the Daily Show, and he's like, oh, so what, like that show? What like is that like a big show in America? And I'm like, well, they kind of invented modern American satire, so they're like pioneers in the field of what they do, and they are the biggest thing. But whatever, Dad, it's fine, you know.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay, so what do you do? Are you the host are you hosting it now? And I'm like, no, I'm the correspondent. He's like, what's that? What does that mean? I'm like, oh, he said correspondent. Like, I help the host with like bits in studio, and sometimes I go into the world and I with people, and then he goes like, oh, hey, May, he's just a sidekick. I was like, yeah, Dad,
Well,
And that's why I don't tell you anything.
You've done pretty well for just a sidekick. I mentioned, I'm sure people mentioned Shang-Chi, the Marvel movie, and Crazy Rich Asians, and all that stuff. And now,
Team effort.
is it possible that you have some kind of magic touch? Because this movie, M3GAN, is now all of a sudden, like, it kind of seemed like a small, kind of odd, funny horror movie, but it's like becoming one of those things that everyone's talking about.
Yeah. I mean, I tell my agents and managers I'll only do blockbuster movies.
Yeah, well, sure. Why bother with it?
One, don't bring that even to my... We're here to win, man. We're in America to win.
Would you say...
Yeah, well...
I get scared. I don't go to see horror movies because I just get scared. It scares me. So, would you describe it as a horror movie?
I mean, it's more satire. It's very self-aware. It's not gory. I also can't take gore.
Yeah, as long as there's no gore, I'm okay.
I mean, I couldn't. They very smartly kind of made it. They toned down the gore from what we filmed to make it PG so that kids can go and get scared out of their minds.
And forgive me for...
to trick children into coming and,
For not knowing how it goes, but the doll, that little kid, is that a real robot they built? Or?
Yeah, so they had a few. They had a fake doll, and then we also had a genius prodigy 11-year-old New Zealand girl, Amy Donald, who played the physical motions of the doll. And so that's all her moving, on all fours, the dance, everything. That's this movement genius 11-year-old girl. And I remember first day on set, my first scene was with the doll, and they put the fake doll there. And so I'm turning around, and the doll and I are in that red hallway, and the doll's maybe like, 10 meters away, which is whatever in feet. I don't know what you guys call it. Whatever. It's like that far. And then, they put the fake doll there, and I'm like, this doll is fake, right? So I'm like slapping in the face. Okay, this is fake. Okay. And I turn around just to, get ready. And then when the scene starts, I turn back around just to get in the zone. And I go like, what the are you doing here? And it was the girl. And they swapped the doll with the girl. So I told this 11-year-old girl, like, what the are you doing here? And I was so apologetic. I'm so sorry. I said, I thought you were the fake doll. And I apologized to the mom.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
Great
you.
to have you here. The movie is called M3GAN, is in theaters now. Ronny Chieng, everybody. We'll be back with Danielle Ponder.